Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast, Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Now streaming on all major podcast platforms. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast. That podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And make sure you go to the website. That's the lostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. And there is some merchandise that you can get. Let me scroll down. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Nope. There it is. Okay, you can get you a cool shirt. You can get you a mug. There's this cool sweatshirt that you can get, but there's all kinds of goodies there. Also, you can get this cool hat like this right here. That just came in yesterday, and I'm very excited about that. But anyways, if you can help support us and getting our veteran voices out for all to hear, it'd be much appreciated. Also, big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing some amazing work. If you don't know anything about them, go check them out at their website. That's tillvalhallaproject.com. And as always, Marines, FMF sailors, there's a place for you once you get out. That's right. It's called the Marine Corps League. And you need to go sign up and become one of the members. You can go to mcleague.org to sign up. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, today is something special, and I am very excited about it. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, and we have been moving right along. But today is a big day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's right, 400 episodes. Hey, made it to 400. Can y'all believe that? I got the crew, some another special guest. But yeah, can y'all believe it? We made it to 400. That's pretty cool, right?
That's very cool.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, we got some good people come back. We got Krista. She's back on the program today. She's been hanging out doing other things, but she came back to celebrate 400 with us, which is awesome. And welcome back, Krista. How you doing?
Oh, outstanding. It's Paris Island. We're rocking it down here. You know it.
Yeah, buddy. Gotta love it. Is it hot down there yet?
No, not yet. It's great. Breezy days. The sand fleas were eating me yesterday. Like 3 sets of mouths, ripping it open, digging in, and eating, chowing down.
Yeah. You don't want that. Yeah.
Nope. I love the beards. I miss you guys. Look at all 3 of you down there. All the beards. Got it going on.
Yeah, buddy. We got the beards rocking today. The bearded veteran brotherhood.
Yeah.
It is strong.
Yeah.
All right, we
gotta have one these days.
That's right. So we got a new guest here. This is Fantom. Fantom is an artist, like paint artist. You can see his artwork back behind him. But how you doing, man?
Outstanding. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing fantastic, man. We're just gonna be here, celebrate 400, talk about some veteran topics. But how does that sound to you?
That sounds lovely. I'm just really honored to be a part of this. I said it before. I don't feel like I deserve to be here, but I'm just very grateful and humble. I appreciate y'all. Semper Fi until we die.
Yeah. No, you are important, just like every veteran out there is important. If I could have every single veteran out there on the podcast, I would. But there's no way we could do that all at one time. But one at a time, maybe I can get to a couple of them. We'll see. Sensei, we got Sensei here today. How you doing?
Good. Let's see. I'm on spring break this week, having a good spring break. And then I got a little early. My birthday's coming up this week, so we got a little early birthday present. went out and bought a new truck today.
Oh yeah.
So I've been driving the grocery getter now for 17 years, right? We were out running errands this morning in the grocery getter, and we got back in the car, or the van, started it up, and the windshield wipers came on all by themselves.
Yeah.
Like they were off on the console. So nothing I could do to turn them off. They just on all the time. And then I noticed that all the displays was completely blank. So I had no readouts, no nothing. The entire display panel was completely blank. Blinker stopped working. I mean, it just colossal shit the bed. But the windshield wipers working. So I think it's finally time. We've been literally rode that thing into the dirt. It's 150,000 miles on it. It's been across country 4 times through 4 different duty station changes. So we definitely got our money's worth out of it. So it's time to put her out to pasture. Yeah. But so today's cigar is this is a Cavalier cigar. This cigar is it's a Honduran cigar. This is the Inner Circle cigar. Let's see, it is Honduran, but the filler is Dominican, Honduras, Nicaraguan, and tobacco from Pennsylvania. So USA's tobacco in here also. This is now the third or fourth one of these that I've smoked. This is the Torpedo. You see, I've already cut off the tip there. But these, if you like the Churchill line of Davidoff cigars, this reminds me a lot of the Churchill Davidoff. It has almost like a woodsy cedary kind of, almost like freshly sharpened number 2 pencil kind of taste to it. If you look it up on the website, let's see, there's medium to full sense of pralines, dry crackers, nuttiness, and something that reminds me of freshly cut bamboo stalks, because we're all around freshly cut bamboo stalks all the time, right?
Absolutely.
And there's some herbal sweetness. So maybe it's the freshly cut bamboo stalks that remind you of the number, or at least reminds me of the number 2 pencil. Yeah, so I'll give the post smoke at the end of the podcast.
All right. Sounds wonderful. All right, Mike, how you been doing?
I'm doing good. All I can picture is Vic keeps talking about the number 2 pencil. When he was a kid, he had them like stuck up his nose or something. Like,
no, you never crayons.
Yeah, you never said what kind of truck did you get, or did I miss it?
No, we got a Ford F-150.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's I couldn't be more happy. I mean, honestly, we test drove it, and they had the best deal out of everybody out there right now, because Ford is trying to get. I mean, it's a model year 24, but it had 18 miles on it. So it was still
nice.
Still dealer brand new. But it had employee pricing on it, plus it got a veteran discount and all kinds of stuff. So I mean, I'm very happy with the deal that we got, and we got a good interest rate too. So yeah.
Yeah, I just got an F-150 a month ago, man. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Before the tariffs kick our ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Did you ever get your bike back, Vic? I'm sorry, Sensei.
Finally, I've actually been riding for the last week, and it has been glorious. Finally. But yeah, so I rode everywhere except for today while we were out running errands. We were in the van. But yeah, it's nice to be back on the bike again.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Mike, how are you? You're still wondering about Vic and how he is. So
nah, I just had follow-up questions.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
No, I'm doing good. A little bit of I talked about it the other night when we were on. Kind of a couple things that during the week that didn't make it so great, but. Got out today and was doing some yard work. Finally got that done. Didn't want to do it, but I kept trying to convince myself not to do it. And I finally went out and did it. So, because it's starting to warm up here. Like last week, it was in the mid 70s. Today, it was like 89. I'm like, yeah, you got to get out here and get this stuff done.
They can't see you. Sorry. I was telling the wife y'all can't see her.
No. Yeah, I can't stand yard work. If I can pay to have somebody else do it, I will every time.
Well, that's my problem is My wife's always like, "Why don't you just have it?" I'm like, "No, and I'm not paying somebody to cut my grass." But, and she's like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "When are you going to cut the grass?" I'm getting to it.
Yeah.
She's gonna go behind you and find some kid in the neighborhood and pay him off to do it.
My
Y'all's
problem
wives still do the grass?
What's that?
Wait, Krista
Y'all's
does. We
wives
know
still
that.
do the grass?
My wife will, but I still try. She's from Illinois, so she's not used to having a Southern gentleman around. So I try to let me be one, but at the time she won't. So she runs the house, not me.
Because my husband's been hurt for a month, and I'm having to do the grass, the weed eating, shoveling gravel. I'm having to do it all because he's hurt.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, really? Sorry to hear that.
Chris is a champ. Oh man. All right.
Yeah,
We
Krista goes in there, and every day when she's done with the grass, she goes in and kicks him, and she's like, "You done faking it yet? Or you don't?" You know.
Yeah, you done real thing.
Oh man. All right, Aaron. How's things down in Florida?
Well, y'all hit just about everything except for I'm still looking for that new truck. Well, and a new bike. But all that to be said, I got some range time in yesterday. So that was good. Ballistic therapy always helps.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes, always.
Yep. Yard work today will continue tomorrow because down here in Florida it's already hot and humid, so everything's growing fast. If you don't get ahead of it, come summertime, then you end up in a jungle.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, before we kind of get started on everything, if you don't mind, Fantom, since our viewers don't really know you, do you mind just giving us a brief overview of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a professional artist. I am a Marine, not a special Marine, not a super cool Marine. I didn't do anything really particularly important in the Marine Corps than just be one. But I got out and became a mechanical engineer, and that's where I spent a lot of my study time. And then I also am a linguistics guy. So I've mastered about 10 languages now. I'm a super nerd. Yeah. So I always joke around, I'm autistic. And so I communicate and do a lot of things very differently than most folks. And so one of the things that I do is I spend a lot of time in education. So, I mean, every day has got a very strict schedule. And in fact, you're familiar with my crazy schedule, Andrew. So we've had some conversations at 2 a.m. when I wake up. And so, now I do artwork. I do a lot of custom stuff. I do the stuff is what's behind me. We've been blessed enough to be able to show in several galleries. In the Dallas Museum of Art. I get to paint for Aerosmith. That's cool. Nice. And then now we do work for a lot of Marines and for the Marine Corps itself. And so we do a lot in support of the St. Louis, the greater St. Louis area recruiting headquarters. And so I'm proud to say that I'm the first Marine in history to ever paint a Marine Corps ball, which is rad.
I saw that video. That was really cool.
Yeah. So it's funny because I've done a lot of live stuff before, but the funniest thing is trying to figure out can we cuss on here?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I always
click.
I'm
trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna wear, right? So I called Sergeant Major and I was like, "Hey, I've got a suit and I'll wear the damn thing, but I want to check, and so I went to, you're gonna laugh, but I went to Temu and got like a $30 3-piece suit that I thought was going to be made out of paper, right?
Yeah.
It was actually fairly squared away. I was kind of surprised how good it looked for a Temu suit. So when you see that video of me painting the ball, I'm in a Temu $30 suit.
Nice.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, but yeah, it's one of those things where you imagine when you join that, like, you have this kind of idea of what you're going to wind up doing, and then the trajectory of your life takes you in different places. So I would have never imagined that what was just kind of a lifetime pastime, artwork would wind up being my thing, right? And so I don't think that you should be able to keep that legacy for yourself. I don't think that. So what I do is I sign Fantom. We use that pen name, that nom de plume, to kind of remove the ego out of what we're doing, especially with the Marine Corps stuff. And then so when we do a Marine Corps piece, we just ask that every Marine that comes in contact with it signs it on the back next to where I signed it, so that in time my signature gets lost, right? So I'm very happy and proud to have been the person that painted the piece. But I love pass downs. Like when I graduated boot camp, my J Hat gave me his, I was an honor man and stuff. He gave me his belt buckle from his blues from when he did. I still have it, and he and I are still really good friends. His name is Joe Jacobs. He's in my friends or whatever. He was the scariest mofo on the planet as far as I knew. And then it turned out he was a cook and he was shorter than me. So, but anyway, in a nutshell, that's what we do. So we create artwork, and the pen name is not to be cool; it's to remove, in fact, the cool from it, right? And so, the idea of pulling self out of something is it's a part of an ego change. When I went through an existential change after finding out that I was autistic, and I'd always wondered why I had so many like social differences and things like that. I'm a super nerd. My buddies always called me Combat Sheldon, in the Marine Corps, you remember Sheldon, the guy in Big Bang Theory, the super nerd guy. So I've always kind of been nerdy like that. And so I was pursuing degrees while everybody else was out getting screwy. So, just a different cat. But that's enough about me. I'm honored and so happy to be here. I'll never feel like I deserve having such amazing friends. So I appreciate y'all being here for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, man. And we're going to have to get together, do your veteran story in the near future as well. But we'll get that scheduled at some point in time. Yeah, it'll be good. But, speaking of your artwork, you and I kind of been scheming a little bit and possibly doing a live broadcast with you painting. And then at the end of the episode, you'll see the painting, and then auctioning it off for charity. So that might be coming down the pike, and possibly getting some other podcasters involved and things like that. I think it's going to be a pretty cool deal.
Yeah. So, briefly on veteran suicide, right? So this is an important topic to me for a lot of reasons. One, my little brother was a puddle pirate. He was a Coast Guard rescue diver guy. Super cool cat. He had some serious issues when he got out, and he did wind up committing suicide. And so, so that was, I still talk to him. It's an interesting thing because, in fact, when I talk to my son's voice sounds a lot like him. And I've screwed up a few times and thought I was talking to Micah again. And I've called my son Micah. And it's kind of a joke now, but it's a real thing, because we don't, I think, when we get caught up in our head, and let me just be super clear. I have been about as close as every veteran, right? We've all had those moments where we're just like, I don't know if I want to hit reset anymore,
Right.
And that was part of what sparked me going and trying to figure out what was going on with me, like in my mind and everything like that. I didn't know where that counseling was going to go, right? And I sure didn't expect it to go to autism, but knowing that changed everything. Anyway, moving back to the veteran suicide thing, obviously it's very close to me, because when I got called that my brother had shot himself, it was just, I remember it was like at 06 in the morning. I was on my way to work. At the time, I was a foreman for a deconstruction company, so I had nice sweaty work to go do, and I just remember the two dogs inside of me fighting. Like, I'm the guy that'll go to work anyway, because I don't know where else healthy to be. I think the Marine in us doesn't know how to do anything in those moments but work harder. But and I still can't. I still grapple with it, and it's very, very close to me, like I was saying. So yeah, I want to be a part of anything that can help. Man, just one veteran in that moment when they feel like all is lost. I mean,
absolutely.
I wish I'd have been able to talk to my brother. So this is kind of our way of being able to talk to somebody's brother, maybe, or provide some sort of service to somebody's son or somebody's husband, It's a topic that's tough enough that I get choked up even right now talking about it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a tough subject all the way around, and I learned just recently how much it not just affects veterans, but the civilian populace is dealing with a lot of the same type of stuff.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's something that's around, and I think that it's becoming more of a way, or how am I saying it? More relevant or upfront. So combating that the best way that we can. Of course, with the veterans side, it is a big deal for us, and there's quite a few that are out there that have either been in that position where they thought they were going to, or almost done it, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So it's whatever we can do to get the word out and talk about it is the important thing. So
Yeah, and one of the things that's tough, and I hate to hog too much time here, but one of the things that's tough is that we project a strength, right? As
mhm,
as veterans that have been through the things in boot camp and stuff like that we've been through, or wherever our career took us, especially Marines, we look like Marines, right? And so it's
yeah,
hard to know what that devil dog looks like on the inside, like
mhm,
what's got them, and then we're not used to like projecting a whole lot of weakness and like showing that we have issues that we're dealing with and stuff like that. And so um it's nice to know that there's a soft spot, and I think that us reaching out and every one of us has got the right look, right? We all are devil dogs, so folks seeing our faces as being not just a resting war face, but a face that you can go to, if you need to have a real talk about some shit like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. I've been online talking about one, the veteran suicide thing, and two, in correlation to that, was reading the the outcome or whatever from the suicide for the VA. And one of the first things it talked about was the how much the age factor was from that 20 to 45-year-old. Those were the ones that were basically the ones that are the majority are committing suicide, or the majority within whoever commits suicide, I should say. And when you look at veteran service organizations, that is the populace that they want in, but have not been successful in getting our numbers up and pulling those guys in. And it came up, how do we do that? And that's been a topic of discussion a couple of times here on the podcast. But I think some good things come of it. Does anybody have anything they want to say about it? Nope. All
No,
right.
not about that.
Well,
But
well,
I'm gonna steal resting Warface. I like that.
dude, so we're trying to get some T-shirts made, but like I've gone through like 3 T-shirt vendors, just trying to find somebody that can do it, because I love to come up with the ideas. I don't know that I can own that one, but I feel like I could. I I don't know that I could own it necessarily, but I want to wear it, and so like I've gone to that one in Walking Kill Box. We did some T-shirts like that for the recruiters out here that say "Walk Marines," Walking Kill Box. But yeah, I've got all these ideas. Like it's just I have to decide if I'm going to do a tattoo, if I'm going to paint, or if I'm going to like tinker around with an idea, and it always winds up being whichever one's going to make me money. So it's unfortunate we got to pay fucking bills.
Yeah, that does come around pretty regular.
But yeah, keep that. It's too much fun not to have.
That's awesome. Now, did any of you see the discussions that were happening online? I know the Phantom did because he was commenting. Yeah, Krista did. Did you guys have any thoughts or anything you want to say about it? There was some good stuff that came out of it.
I've been buying a truck all day.
Yeah, good point. You have an excuse. I'll let you out. That's all right.
So just real quick, I'm trying not to hog too much time. I apologize, guys. I'm excited to be new here. So
We
when
can definitely make room for the new guy.
well, thank you so much. You're very courteous. I appreciate it. I'm a part of a couple groups. Like I said, I'm Masonic. I went through all the different Mason stuff, and then I joined up with some other stuff, like the Rotary Club, and some other stuff that was local back when I was in Texas. And they're having the same issues, right? And so getting younger members is a challenge, I think, across the board. And I think a lot of it resides in the fact that, especially during the 50s and 60s, these were kind of like, get together clubs, and there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And so they're still geared that way. So like when you go to them, they still, which I thought is cool and nostalgic, right? But it doesn't seem like there's maybe enough effort or even maybe thought put into what will draw a new crowd in, like a younger crowd. And
Right.
I have to admit, I know that I'm getting old because I already can't identify, right? So, yeah, like for my I keep a regular job so that I can have insurance and shit like that. And it's at Hobby Lobby, and I love it, right? It's fun there and all that stuff. And nothing's like a job that you don't need to make you have a great day. But the younger folks that are there, I noticed the age difference, ever since, especially since I turned 45, and it's a trip. I don't necessarily know how to connect with them, and I feel that even sometimes with my kids, right? And so I always thought I was going to be the cool old guy. And now I find myself getting upset when the kids are out of school because I'm have to share the road with them and stuff. So I wonder sometimes about, like, I don't know, like what about, like, because I know they connect to do like video game stuff, and like it seems like you'd have to go into that kind of level thing to draw 'em.
Yeah, I think so. Some of the biggest things that came out was, doing activities for those younger guys, but being able to include the family was something big. But things that they
Yeah,
want to do, because they're still active guys, they're young, they want to go out and
yeah,
run, they want to go out and, do competitions or whatever. So,
yeah.
it's drawing that crowd in, the gaming thing. I mean, having a gaming night once a month or something like that, or
Well,
having
these
gaming
guys all do that.
tournaments.
I mean, even the gals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's a good point. Y'all don't have to stay quiet. You can talk there, Mike and Aaron and Krista. You can unmute and have a conversation with us.
I just feel bad because, like our little organization, we have 81 members and only 78 paying members. And like when I did our last newsletter, I actually got really emotional doing it. I found out that like 6 of the guys that died were Korean War veterans,
Mm,
and some of them were the Frozen Chosen. They were on that USS Climber
Oh,
that
wow.
left Guam, and headed for the Philippines, and then got there and did that 10. They were in like November of 1950, and they literally froze to death, almost got murdered. And I mean, I was really emotional doing the last newsletter doing it. But
I'll
we're
bet.
trying to get new members. Nobody wants to pay the $30 dues. But then when we get together and we have our reunions, we only do it once a year, and we have all this history. We want to show them our history, but they're not interested in that. It's not that they don't care about. I mean, it's not. I think they do care about where they came from, but they're doing this. They want to look at their phones. They want to see something exciting and interesting, and
hmm
I mean, yeah. I don't know how to connect to them or show them our history, but we have to do something besides just get together and talk about, like
Yeah.
John Alphonsus Murphy. He was a drummer who was a Medal of Honor winner, and he fought beside the original, Dan Daly when Dan Daly was a private. I've got pictures of him next to Dan Daly, but we talk about Dan Daly, but we don't talk about John Alphonsus Murphy, who was a drummer.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
were at the Peking Ligation, and so I don't know what to do to drum up bad pun there, new members. I don't know, and we haven't raised our dues in 40 years, and I don't know what to do to get new people. But I did see somebody wrote events, events, events. So I think
hmm
we need to do something maybe more than once a year and try to maybe do smaller. We don't have to do one big one. Maybe do something every quarter and maybe do something regionally,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
try to do
I
something
think
that
the
will
regional thing is key.
do something more regional, not just the one big thing where everyone's broke and has to, shell out $1,000 or $2,000 to get there. Do
Yeah.
something that
Yeah.
they can afford, because us old folks, we'll shell out a couple $1,000 and go to New Orleans, for 4 days, but not everyone can do that once a year. Do something that
Yeah.
it's more affordable, that's more realistic.
Yeah. Well,
So
especially
that's me
with
and my organization.
with your organization and how you just do once a year, you take the younger generation that has a family, their young kids, those types of
Children.
things, and now they're having to pay for a vacation basically to go down there, and
That's not in
they
there.
would
That's
much
not
rather
even in
spend.
there. Go ahead.
They'd much rather
I'm so
spend it on going to Disney World or wherever the vacation hotspots are.
maybe take a cruise and why are we always go to a band and nothing against
Hmm.
going to a band, but maybe let's go do something besides just going to the same band. Let's go do something different. Take a cruise, go to New
Yeah,
York or go to Williamsburg, go do something fun, different. And
yeah, yeah. There's got to be a way to connect.
because we only have 2 active duty Marines in our organization. That's it.
Oh wow.
Huh.
Oh, I think you hit it with the regional thing, and it is, and everything's costs way more now, and that's part of it. Um, so the junior Marines and sailors and soldiers are going to be making a little bit more money now. So um,
Heyo.
yeah, with their pay raise, they're I don't know if that worked out well or not because they keep doing this continuing resolution where now they're coming up on like the services are having to eat freaking pay right
Oh
now.
wow.
And I don't know if Sensei is going to cover that in military news if we get there, but part of the continuing resolution right now is they're having to eat some of the pay stuff right now. Each service is, but anyway, all that to be said, I think regional, for example, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama,
Hmm.
in this region right here, many of us can do that. Well, you already said it. Us older folks can shell out a couple thousand, but the younger folks can do that. Oh, maybe a weekend or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but like you said, take people from across the country and fly them into New Orleans. And I have to be honest with you, I've never been to New Orleans, but I can't imagine it's cheap.
No, no,
Well, it
of course
depends on
not.
what time of year, probably.
Like Disneyland,
Yeah, you're right.
and everything's a 22% service charge for the hotel. Now, if
Yeah.
we're going to rent a
Yeah.
room to show our history and have a banquet, and it's $750 just to have a room for the banquet.
Yeah.
And they're going to what was I going to say? Hold on. And they're going to charge us 22% fee on the $750 rental room for the banquet.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, our dues aren't even going to cover that. And I can do it. We can come up with it. But see, it's your money, Aaron. It's your money, Mike. It's your money,
Yeah.
Victor. And I have to use that money. I'm the treasurer and the administrator, but I have to use that money wisely. It's not my
Yeah.
money. It's your money. So I have to be a good steward of what we've got. And I can't just, if I blow it all in one reunion, then it takes a long time to recoup that money. So I got to use it
Yep.
wisely. Anyway, but yeah, there's got to be a different way. And do we always have to go to a band? Maybe a cruise, maybe something. But now I heard somebody talking about the families and children because I'm 60 years old. I don't have, I'm not bringing my kids or grandkids, but other people do. Jeremy Matt or Mark Payone, he's getting ready to have a baby. If we want him to come bring his kids, then we need to think about everyone. I can't just think about
Yeah.
me. I've got to think about my members and what they need. Yeah. So I digress.
Very true. Yeah, and holding those holding events, and every veteran service organization is down in numbers. We've had Mario Marquez on with the American Legion, TJ Morgan with Marine Corps League. I mean, all these guys that are coming on are saying the same thing. The numbers are down. So and it's across the board. It's how do we get those younger people to get in? I would say that some of us in the middle ages, we're the ones that are going to have to be able to communicate up to our elders and communicate down to the younger folks where we are at least closer to their age and can relate and figure things out. Although probably not perfect, but better than it has been in the past.
Yeah, we've got to build that bridge somehow.
We've got to be that bridge, and you said it exactly, Krista. That there's such a disconnect even from our generation of being Marines to the younger generation. Hell, I even see it online, and you look at stuff. I saw a post the other day. It was First Marine Division Band, and it was, I think she was a sergeant or something. It was a photo but everybody and their brother was just going to town on the hair regulations.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
what we all knew was, was either short or it was in a bun. And,
Yeah.
it was pulled so tight it looked like your eyeballs. Unfortunately, Krista, you guys were gonna how the heck you even blinked, I don't know. And the first thing when I see it, I'm like, what the hell is that?
And you thought I had a head injury from that log
Yeah.
splitter hitting that log in my face.
Nice.
But we're just as guilty as those that were before us. They're like, oh, you younger generations, you don't know what it's. We create such a disconnect between the generations that it's hard. And I'm 51 years old, but like you were saying, Andrew, we're still young enough that maybe we can. 20 years ago, I'd have been like, absolutely not, hell no. Hair, cut it off, pull it up, do something like that. Now I'm like, even the conversations we've all had, it's like, well, the Marine Corps is not giving up on its traditions and its history, but with certain time, there has to be an understanding that, is it really that important that your hair's pulled back so tight that you could shoot an arrow off of it or bounce a quarter off your bun or something, I'm fine, shaving and grooming regulations and stuff like that, but we all have to finally give into a little bit and say, okay, we've got to bridge that gap, and we've got to, as long as the standard of what it means to be a United States Marine isn't going down.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. And Andrew and Vic and Aaron, you've had a lot more. I was just shy of 17 years and been out a while, but you have a closer pulse on the current Marine Corps, and I'm sure it's changed a hell of a lot even since you retired over a year ago.
Yeah,
Andrew,
yeah.
Well, I'll say it's about recruiting and retention now.
Yes.
And part of it that's also driving it is the future warfighting environment. Well, really the current now. We kept saying the future, and it's already upon us. When the enemy has UAS, unmanned aerial systems, armed, we're in a different environment. You're not going to take troops and put them out in the middle of the desert anymore on a convoy by themselves to be attacked by a UAS. We're just not going to do it anymore.
Right.
I believe our generation, OIF and OEF veterans is probably the last generation where we're gonna mass troops in for
Yeah, I can
combat.
see that.
It's gonna be, we have the Space Force now, right? We got cyber, and then we've got counter UAS and in our own UAS as well. So that's kind of more of your war fighting force, right?
Yeah.
So then you stop and you think about all those things, with haircuts and hygiene and all that. You still need to maintain a professional appearance. All right.
Yeah.
So that is still a requirement. Even though their hair may be down further than it was, they still have to maintain a professional appearance. They can't just roll out of bed, like Andrew does now and
Thank you.
freaking not brush their hair. And
You're not wrong.
Hey, I did it when I worked for home for 2 years.
Hey, hold on. He does roll out of bed, but not under an awning.
That is a good point. Yeah.
I think most of us are rolling out of bed now instead of jumping out of bed, right?
And get that in there. Sorry.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We can all remember shining boots, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like I still get out the boot polish just to smell the shit sometimes. I know that's goofy, but when they changed out of shining boots, I remember just how hard that was to accept, even while I was still active, right? And so you felt like some of the important shit was going away. Like you felt like you were watching it happen.
Yeah.
Every now and then I catch a whiff of
Never dull.
It's well
never dull.
Just random stuff that we did in boot camp to like clean the squad bays and hygiene and all that. You get that smell, and it's like, man, that smells like boot camp, and you kind of get this warm fuzzy feeling in your heart.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, here we
So
go.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to know you guys aren't huffing gas, but you're huffing shoe polish.
You
Damn.
got to
And
bring
edge
back the good old
dressing
days
and
somehow.
Imnu. Yeah.
Edge dressing,
Imnu.
Imnu, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the good old
Oh,
times.
Yeah, there's nothing
good
like the
times.
smell
Good
of
times.
lighting a can of kiwi on fire just so you can get it hot and wet.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Get
Yeah.
that good shine in. Yeah.
Well, it's like the Vietnam era. Nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I still
There
have a
you
little
go.
bit of can of shoe polish left, and I use it to polish my motorcycle boots.
Oh
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
I actually do. I polish my my Doc Martens just to fucking smell it. That's the truth.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always like
Just
going through
fucking smell it.
when I'm wearing boots, going through the airport, and I got it. If I see the shoe shine guy, man, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna be, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Shine my boots. Let's do this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Although
was just
now
gonna
I just
say,
wear Crocs,
Do
so
they
I don't
shine
have to worry
Crocs?
about it.
Yeah, that's what I was
No.
I was
just
gonna
saying.
say,
Yeah.
you
Not
shine them
anymore.
Crocs up.
No.
You have to get all those little buttons off of there.
Yeah.
Get my
Yeah,
wasted
get your little
digits or whatever they're called out of there before you.
get your little
Lucky
flower
Charms and
buttons
stuff.
off there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know I got the flowers on there. You're right.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing about a resting war face. You can get away with it.
That's right. That's right. Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you for having my back. These yahoos, man. Well, Aaron, Mike, Sensei, Krista, did you guys have anything you want to kind of chat about?
Well,
Not
when talking about getting the younger generation back, how about Dakota Myers reenlisting, huh?
Yeah, that was big. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, he's approaching our age group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
he's
so
36
like in
years
my
old.
mind, I was like, what would it like to wear sergeant at that age, right? So like that kind of went through my head. Like I was hoping for him that they'd give him a couple meritorious stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you fall into your birthday ball and you got a Medal of Honor around your neck, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody
Yeah,
gives a
no
shit.
joke.
So I think they're going to use him as kind of he reenlisted in the reserves, so he's a
Right.
reservist.
Yeah.
Some sort
But
of
I think
public
they're going to.
affairs.
Yeah, I think
It'd
they're
be a
going to
war
use him
bond
as a
deal.
recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do
absolutely.
the flag raiser kind of bond thing with him.
Yeah.
It's
I
probably a
wonder
smart move.
I wonder if they should do stuff like that,
I think they
raise
Yeah.
some
have
money.
to.
Well,
I think they have to for this younger generation.
Well,
I
Yeah.
think he
kudos
has
to
to
the
go
prior
around.
service recruiter that got him in, man. That's seriously.
Yeah.
yeah. No shit. But here's
I'm
the deal,
beginning.
man. Do you ever like? I have those days when honestly, just to put my shit back on, I'd cut potatoes or whatever. I wouldn't even give a shit. I mean,
Uh,
I'll be a grunt until I'm dead. But like the thing is like just being even with just sitting here with y'all, right? Just like that feeling again of okay, I'm home now. I can talk how I want to. I can do have
yeah.
some our terrible dark humor and shit. Like I bopping around the civilian world, and what I told my son when he finished his first hitch, I was like, dude, you just get the fuck back in. I was like, do a different job
Yeah.
because like at the end of the day, there's nothing out here that's very satisfactory. In fact, when I got my master's and went into mechanical engineering, man, I fucking hated it, man. I hated the people I
Oh
was
wow.
around. I was making plenty of money, but that was never what I was doing anything for. I think once you're a Marine, you get so used to doing something because you're just that crazy person that has to.
Yeah.
I always tell folks, I'm like, I was a Marine because I couldn't fucking imagine wearing another uniform. Like it would feel uncomfortable on my body. And so like the idea that, modern Marines, you were talking about it earlier, their connection to history, so much is lost, I think, to the phones and shit, like stuff that we don't have any kind of control over in the same way. For those of us that grew up having to, leave messages on an answering machine, hoping the girl would call us back or whatever, it was a different world, and I hate my phone. I mean, one of the reasons that people, started calling me Fantom in the first place is because I never had my phone and won't answer it. I don't, it's been an annoyance to me, right? So I'd leave it at home on an answering machine if I could.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But we're kind of that generation that got both worlds, right? So the majority of it growing up, it was the old answering machine, stuff like that. But then it started transitioning when I guess we were a little older, not much though. But we're in that middle ground.
Dude, I still had it. I grew up with a rotary phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one.
I had
I remember having a pager.
Yeah, I had a pager once. Yeah.
But speaking of gaming, my mom had an Atari, so I learned to play
Yeah.
Atari at like 5 years old.
That's right. You got to play Pong, Frogger,
Breakout.
Well,
there's some
I
good
think
games
that
back
something
then.
like that
Pitfall.
might actually draw some
Pitfall.
folks
Yes.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But
So it's funny that you bring that up. I'm listening. I do audiobooks now. When I was on recruiting duty, audiobooks is how I kept from falling asleep in the car. Some people put to sleep. Me, audiobooks kept me awake. So on
Same.
recruiting duty, I read or listened to over 100 audiobooks on recruiting duty. So I've kept my subscription going, and I still listen to audiobooks. And right now I'm listening to The Anxious Generation.
Okay.
And it's not too long ago. I mean, I think the author talks about COVID. So I mean, the book only came out in the last couple of years. But he talks about 2010 to 2015 being what he calls the great rewiring of youth. How we went from a play-based childhood to a phone-based childhood from 2010 to 2015. And like the whole book lays out, of course, why it's bad. But it's what I feel bad about is my being a father, because my daughter, developed, she was born in 2006, and she's a senior now. I mean, so she was developing and she had a cell phone during that time, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I feel like I failed my kid to an extent, but it's what you're talking about, we have to go to where this younger generation is. Kids, they're so addicted to their cell phones now. They go through visible withdrawal symptoms if you take their phone away, or if they can't find their phone. I mean,
well, and that's how you do grounding these days. That's your punishment, right?
Yeah,
That's your best weapon.
I just did that the other day, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's your best weapon.
Her phone, and I'm like, I wish you could see.
Is that me?
Nope,
No.
it's freezing up to me too.
All right, good. It's not me.
Their phone, because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You froze up. We didn't hear all that.
And we all say that, oh, no, I wouldn't. You look at other people and other people's kids, and you're like, oh, my kids were never like that, or my kids didn't have that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Regardless of, I remember when, in the 80s, everybody else had cable, and we still had the old, what was it, UHF?
Yeah.
The antennas.
Flipping.
Yeah.
And not just the Weird Al Yankovic movie.
Yeah. I was the remote.
I guess I'm like
go
that.
change the channel. I'm like, okay, Dad, I'm gonna be turning. But all of a sudden, everybody had MTV when MTV was first coming out.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, we'd go to church on Sunday, and it would just everybody, all these old ladies would be just all in an uproar about MTV and these.
Oh yeah.
Satan spawned these videos, and
Yeah.
Everybody else had it, but all of a sudden we finally got it. My dad's like, "You're not watching that damn MTV, whatever that crap is." And I'm sitting there watching Madonna or Cyndi Lauper. I'm like, "Okay, Dad, yep, it's the same thing, but just different media. It's the same. It's just, I don't know if media is the right word, but it's.
No,
with each generation, it changes. So
yeah, Aaron brought up a good point, talking about how everything is developing in a sense of war and what we're going to do in the future. The military, or the current military, they're doing a huge thing where they're going with the UAVs. They're doing all these other things, a lot of technology type based things, which is fantastic. I get to go to the Modern Day Marine here at the end of the month, so I get to see all the new whizzy go fast stuff that they're coming out with. So I'll be sure and take pictures and photos and all that good stuff, and videos, and put a podcast together for it.
That'll be cool.
You know, I do the Share the Legacy over here at Paris Island every week when I go and talk to the new Marines after they complete their crucible. And at curriculum at G3, when I'm in there, curriculum, what they're doing, you know, we used to have our mean greens, you know, and things and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they're doing now at curriculum, they're getting ready to start giving the recruits tablets, because instead of because what it is you know, recruit training is it's step based,
Repetitive. Yeah.
repetitive. You learn something, you go back, you repeat it, and then they test, because certain things they have to test on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
so what they're doing is, for the testing, they're going to be issuing them tablets, and they can be doing their, instead of having, when they're sitting and they're waiting, they can be going over their knowledge in their tablet, instead of having that. I mean, they'll still have probably their handbook for Marines or their guidebook for Marines, but curriculum's been working on, and that's why I actually have this little silly tablet here, because when I went to the reunion last, you know, in North Carolina, you know, I have epilepsy, and
Mhm.
so I was able to take an AI app, put it on this tablet, and then record the minutes from the meeting on here, and then I can, you know, dictate them out later, which is really
Yeah.
great for. I love it, Aaron. I see it. Great. And then I could
Oh, he's got his green
transcribe the
monster.
Still
minutes
got my
later.
green
Right.
monster. Look at that.
Green Monster, that's what it was called. Right?
Oh
And
yeah, I
then,
love
I
it.
still have mine. It has Jones K on it, you know. It's got
Oh
Garner
yeah,
on there
that's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, somebody else wrote on mine when they were copying. But that's what they're going to be doing. So curriculum is
Yeah.
working on the tablets
That's
and
amazing.
issuing tablets to the recruits.
Yeah, it's probably a great idea. I mean, all I did with my Green Monster was just tear the fucking thing up. I mean, not on purpose. Just, I mean, I would, you know, like it was part of my little ritual to just keep reading it even after I got done with boot camp. And so,
Yeah.
I still have mine.
yeah. Like that's the only thing. But we're kind of, it's a double-edged sword though, right? Because here we are, we've still got ours, right? They're not going to have their tablet, right? So like, I think it's a better way probably to instill the knowledge initially, but then there is that little bit of legacy that's lost. It's kind of like with boot shining, right? There's that little bit of legacy that's lost, and I completely believe that the Marine Corps will be here long after we are. But at the same time, you struggle with that shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
In my head, like I still see, because I went to the Marine Military Academy for high school, so I still see. And I actually started college down there when I was young, and so when I think about like boot shining, I know that it's a piece of discipline too, right? So like, I think with the haircuts and stuff, I think what we're seeing and having an adverse reaction to is the discipline part, right?
Yeah.
We worry that that's what's going lax, right? And so it's not so much that, I mean, if you're a squared away motherfucker, I don't care how your shit is put together, right?
Yeah.
We had a guy, I mean, we all called them field Marines, right? Like you got garrison Marines, you got field Marines, and so we had this one cat, Jacobs, man. I mean, his uniforms were always fucked up. His camis were always fucked up, but he was just one hell of a field Marine, right? And so, like, he kind of would get a pass from everybody, you know, and which is fine. But like at the same time, I think we just don't want to feel like everybody's getting that pass, you know, like you got to earn it. And so, like, I think it would be badass to have that kind of ability to access the information, right? Especially when the drill instructors get used to using it and start really having tools, like ways to make it even more functional. Because you know those DIs will get all over that once they have it and figure out how to actually make it work, you know. But it's going to take a little while to roll it out right. You know, we know that. So there's going to be at least maybe a generation of learning.
Maybe. Once
By
you
that,
get
I mean, like,
those recruits that had gone through with the tablet and everything, as they're getting everything, now they're going back as a drill instructor, right? That's where it's going to be really beneficial.
Yeah, that's what I mean by generation. I don't mean like an age generation. I mean like a full cycle. Like by the time that guy gets to go back and be a DI, then he'll know all the lessons he learned from, you know, let's face it, where he was fucking off and screwing off and all that kind of shit, and then where he could have tightened up a little bit himself, and he'll be able to apply that stuff. That's when I think that's when we'll really see how much of a benefit it is. Now, I'll bet it'll be great by that time.
I just wonder how, you're talking about tablets. How are they going to charge these things and keep them charged? And
Yeah,
there's a
they'll probably have
whole
a
new level
station.
to everything. I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine it.
yeah, they'll probably have to have a station. I mean, it's the Marine Corps, so
Yeah.
they're going to have like a table set up, and it's going to be numbered, and you're going to have to memorize that shit too.
yeah.
This is my
Another thing to
tablet. There are
memorize.
many
Yeah.
like them, but this one is mine.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
you can't exactly toss a Foot Locker with the tablet in it,
Oh yeah, no
shit.
joke.
Right.
No shit.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be a
D-Ball,
bad day.
he's in charge of curriculum they're down there working that all out. Yeah, because he went to San Diego and they were talking about it. The two curriculums in San Diego, and they were talking about it last year when I went to North Carolina, and I had bought this tablet just for that, to get an AI. It's an app, and I'm all against AI. And I'm against apps, but I'm an old gal and I needed something to record. I was just going to do it on a tape recorder or my phone. And my son's like, hey, Mom, everybody in class uses their tablets. And then Vic had a tablet and I knew he used his tablet. And I was like, there's got to be something that. And then this guy, D-Mall, who's in charge of curriculum, he's like, yeah, I'm experiencing with these experimenting with these two apps and they can record it. And what it did, it had, and they labeled them A, B, C, and D, and I could put the people that were on the meeting, and it recorded them and put their names in, and it did my minutes for my meeting, and then it summarized them, paraphrased them, made suggestions, everything, and I was like, I was like a kid in a candy shop. I was in heaven. But
you can also
that are possible now out there are amazing. But I mean, it's that double-edged sword, Mike. I know I need to let you talk, but it had so many great things, and like you said, technology is amazing, but then we lose other skills as well. So you have to decide what do you need it to do at that point in time.
It's all in how we use it.
Right. And then when are we willing to put it down and walk away and say, we need to talk face to face and put the phone away and not have phones in schools at the time when we're supposed to be learning, we're supposed to be face to face, and we're supposed to be doing other stuff.
But I mean, like I think there's a commercial on TV. It shows, it's like, a college kid, but, they have an iPad or something and they're using AI, but they can record the whole lecture. But they can put in and they can do certain filters and it literally breaks down topics and notes and, stresses different things. And it's like, okay, is that a bad thing? If that gives you the ability to be able to study more efficiently, or, some people are like, oh no, you need to be sitting there, pencil to paper and taking notes and writing, part of me says yes and no, but the other is like, hey, if you had that ability, why would you not use it?
Well, and a lot boils down to the the style of your instructor, the instructor's abilities and shit like that. And so like the AI portion kind of eliminates some of those rough edges, right? And so it can make up for when you get a hungover instructor that's not giving you their best that day, right? I mean, let's be real.
That's pretty good.
I use
man.
ChatGPT every day.
I never did that, Andrew.
Right. Yeah. Wink, wink.
And I never got an IEB before a mountain run either.
So what were you saying there, Sensei?
I said I use ChatGPT almost every day.
Really?
Yeah.
I use it all the time. I mean, it's almost like a search engine for me, because and then the more things that you ask of ChatGPT, the more it learns from you about the things that you are and things that you do. And I'm making sure my kid's not around because it's a surprise, but I'm giving her commencement speech, her graduation speech. I use ChatGPT to write it, to make the first draft. And I attended a conference a couple months ago, and somebody was doing a clinic on AI, and they basically said use ChatGPT, have your teachers use ChatGPT, and let it be your first best draft. Because ChatGPT can be 80% of what you do, but you still need to put your spin on it to make it sound like you, right? So I was doing that, and it came back to me and said, because you work at a Catholic school, do you want it to have a religious note to it? ChatGPT asked me that.
Do you know where my phone is?
And I'm like, whoa!
It is pretty amazing. I was having it do something with the podcast, and there was a lot of stuff that I didn't even mention in it, and it just automatically, like a completely new day, completely, it just went ahead and put all kinds of stuff in it. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
So it's
I haven't done anything to experience it yet, but it's interesting the way it's affected the art community AI.
Yeah, I'm sure it had some negative effects, I would imagine.
Yeah. So briefly, you'll notice like on the back of every painting, there's a number on there. So we don't do any prints. So I've never done prints. So we just do that one original, and that's it, right? And so I'll paint anything you want, right? But I'll only paint it one time that way. And so, we're on 890 now is what the number says of this second 1,000. I mean, I don't like to brag, but I mean, we're prolific. I mean, it's been good. But I'm watching other artists who've been pressuring me this whole time. They're like, hey, dude, do prints, man. This is where the money is. You need to do prints. Because in my head, I've never done them because I'm like, well, I mean, I might make $10 off that print, but I'd rather sell the original and that get out there. And then I feel like it cheapens the process. Well, now those guys are suffering, all of them, because AI is basically just a print, right? And so AI is out there making pretty cool looking stuff, man. And so like if you're gonna make real shit, it needs to have your fingerprints on it. And so that has negatively affected the community that was in a spot that was sensitive. And I think one reason it's funny because I'll go to gallery showings and stuff, and you can bet that the Marine that's there, the squared away resting Warface Marine, is the oddball out at the fucking gallery show, right? And so I've been that guy that they're like, you painted that, that kind of thing. But you bring the Marines with you everywhere you go, right?
Yeah.
One of the best things is that, we've all heard it. You fall to the level of your training. You don't rise to the level of your expectations. And so we are trained to be a certain way and to be pretty hard-nosed about stuff. And I'm just there's never a day in my life I'm not grateful about something to do with the Marine Corps. And it's one of those things. That's one of the things that I think is key for the younger generations, right? One of the reasons that, like, even though I keep it limited as far as how much presence I put out personally, I say a lot of shit about the Marine Corps on purpose because I want people to feel what I feel. When I look at a new recruiting commercial or just when I go, like when I went to the ball this last year to paint, I was happy to paint, but that wasn't what it was for me. I was just happy to be around Marines. I just wanted to swim in dress blues, right? I mean, I was just so happy to fucking be among my own kind, and so that's the thing that I don't want to see ever get lost is that thing that makes everybody talk about us. We're the only service, as far as I know, in the whole world ever that has had an enemy give them a badass nickname. The enemy hasn't out of fear and respect given that nickname to anybody else. We're the devil dogs, right? We're the hounds of hell, and there's a reason, right? And so a lot of that is in our deep culture.
Very true.
And the way that we talk about the Marine Corps to each other and to people around us is what attracts people like me and like you. When my when my recruiter came, and of course they had different rules back then because I'm connected with the recruiters now, and all of them were like, we could never do that. But my recruiter came to my math class and he's like, maybe one or two of you is worth my time and the rest of y'all stay out of my office. And to me, I knew exactly who he was talking to, right?
Yeah.
That was for me, right? And
I like
the
that.
other, it was super motivated. I mean, and of course he waited until everybody else had gone and told you how they were going to, send you to heaven and give you the moon. And that's all he had for you. He didn't want to talk about college. He didn't want to talk about any of the other jazz. And so, I still want the Marine Corps to draw that same kind of quality.
Yeah, and I think they will. It's just and you kind of work close with the recruiters out there. I mean, they're still pulling in good quality individuals, I think. They just go about things a little differently than we did. And
well, they have to. I mean, they have to.
Yeah. And that's difficult. It's hard to relate, but that doesn't mean that what they're doing is necessarily wrong. It's just a different way of doing things. And I think we have to be the ones to be able to say, okay, it's not as bad as we think, right?
Yeah, and one thing I've tried to do too is remember how I felt because my granddad and great granddad were both Marines, and so and then my granddad on my mom's side was also a Marine, and so I remember how I felt when they would do that kind of generational thing, and so I've just pulled that from what I do, right? When I talk to future Marines and shit like that, so like those lessons are there, and I think if we apply them. And I'll tell myself, even quietly under my breath, I'm like, open mind, open mind, open mind.
Yeah.
Trying to,
sometimes you have to say it out loud.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's funny. Well, we could probably sit here all night long and do this, but we should probably go ahead and think about wrapping it up here. So what we do at the end is we do words of wisdom. So we go around and have people kind of talk about what their words of wisdom are for the day. So I'll go around to everybody, and then you can jump in whenever you would like. If you want to be dead last, you can be dead last, or however you want to do it. But I'll go around to everybody. Sound good?
Absolutely.
All right, Sensei, hit us up.
Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm.
Ooh, it's very true. Yeah, good. All right, Christy, you want to jump in on this? You're on mute.
You're still on mute. You're still on mute.
There you go.
Leave it to me. Remember my tried and true one, that real integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching, when no one will ever know you did it.
Yep. It's good. All right, Mike, what do you got for us?
I had looked up a couple and I was trying to debate which one I wanted to use here, but we'll do one from Albert Einstein. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you just have to keep moving.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah. All right. Now, Fantom, you want to go next, or you want to shift over to Aaron? And what do you want to do?
Yeah. I'll give you my two favorite from my granddad.
All right. Go ahead.
So the first one I received when I was rolling up the hose wrong, and I tried to give him an excuse for it. It is excuses shelter the weak. A warrior can find no refuge in them. Right.
Ooh.
I keep that one in the brain housing group all the time. And then what the fuck was the other one I was going to say? My granddad had a whole bunch of cool ass shit that he said. Oh, and my favorite about succeeding, right? About being a warrior and being first. He's like, the plow owes no apology to the tilled soil or the cut worm.
I
like that
that.
one. Yeah, it's so like, you don't have to apologize for being the best.
Yeah. Dang, that's good. I like it.
it.
Awesome. All right, Aaron, what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna kind of chime in with Mike there, and then for those veterans that are listening, that things may not be going right for them. Sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah,
that was unknown. I don't know who said that, but
I think it was Aaron Davis.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I cannot take any credit for it.
Yeah,
all right, fellas. Krista,
that's
thanks
how
for
our day
joining
was
us
today. Nothing went according to plan today. It took me 2 hours to find the strap for the freaking weed eater. And I couldn't find it. And then I was throwing the weed eater because I was so mad because I couldn't find the strap. And he goes, "Well, now you broke the weed eater." And I was like, "Well, I didn't want to weed eat anyway."
Hey, I did that once,
that
and
is
the
so
weed eater
marine.
started working.
So
Oh,
couldn't find
shoot.
Well, yeah, I had to
That's
drive
about
a
as marine
van
as
where
you
the
can
windshield
get.
wipers were going
Yeah.
across a dry windshield.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I can't imagine.
But
Well,
things just fell into place with your brand
quit,
new
just quit
F-150.
whining. You got a damn new truck. Jeez,
Yes.
good Lord.
Yeah. No
All because of the
shit.
windshield wipers. You're like, I'm done with this. I'm getting a new truck. Nope.
That sounds
Oh,
about
man.
right.
Well, thank y'all for coming on and doing this. 400. Can you believe it? It's insane.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 400. I can't believe we
Congratulations.
made it
That's
there. Thanks for coming on and doing this. 400. Thanks for my crew here. Thanks for coming on regularly and doing this with me, putting up with my shenanigans. I appreciate it. And Phantom, thanks for coming on. It's been good.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
nice
been
to
an
finally
honor. I
face-to-face
sure
at
hope you guys
least.
know I love y'all.
Absolutely,
Oh yeah,
man.
I'm honored and humbled. Yeah, thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And I
you
look
bet.
forward to
And
collaborating on a cool painting. Yeah.
oh yeah, we're gonna do it up big. We'll have to chat about that later and come up with some big show for it. It'll be good, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you
All right.
guys are all fam. In fact, anybody that is a veteran here that is interested in something, they can definitely get a discount. But if they mention the show, they'll get a 50% discount.
Oh, look at there. Now, hey, real quick, because we didn't hit it. Where can they find your stuff at?
Yeah. So if you go to if on Facebook, you can find us pretty easy. Fantom with an F, FantomSquirrel Howell. That's my personal one. Or you can go to Valkyrie, Valkyrie Recovery Artworks.
Okay, awesome. And I'll put that on the comment section and all that good stuff. And I'll also tag you in it
Thank
whenever
you
I
so much,
post it
man.
and all that stuff. But yeah, do some incredible artwork. Now you did the one with Chesty Puller. Did you do that one?
Yeah, I sure
Yeah,
did.
that one
Yeah.
is freaking awesome. Yeah. You can't go wrong with good old Chesty.
No, yeah, we did one for Brian, and then we also did one for the headquarters for the Greater St. Louis recruiting headquarters. So they've
Oh, very
actually
nice.
got, I think, 14 pieces of my pieces up there now. So
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's stacked. It's cool to go in there and see like your stuff, because like
Yeah.
I don't know, we all want to leave some kind of legacy on the Marine Corps. We all want to feel like we did
Mhm.
something.
Yeah.
And there was a part of me that, we all kind of do our thing, but there was a part of me that was like, man, I didn't leave a mark like I really wish I had. And now I can actually feel like I did, and then being able to share that with others and kind of disappear into it. So accept the gift, and then share it. Just makes it so much better. Just makes it so
Yeah,
much better.
absolutely.
You
Well,
know,
I love your artwork, man. And I'll
thank
try
you.
to help and push it as much as I can. But everybody go check him out, and you can see it in the comments and everything. His websites, but. For all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need help, anything like that, don't forget that the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. Phantom, the crew cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies that you served with. And ask them if they need a helping hand. And if they need that helping hand, go ahead and give it to them. All right, everyone. Thanks one last time. Thank you to all the listeners out there. Stay motivated. Change your socks.